Hi everybody, I'm Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer of the world-famous rock band Red Hot Chili Peppers, from my book Scar Tissue. But I can't say my life was always like this, rich and famous. This is my life story. I don't remember a lot from when I was a baby, but I was born in a small city in Michigan. I never had any siblings then. It was just me, my mom, and my dad. Well, it turned out to be just me and my mom pretty soon. My parents had a divorce when I was only 3. I had a much closer bond with my dad than I did with my mom. The best way to describe this with my dad was that he was a hippie. He had long orange hair, a bushy mustache, wore tie-dye shirts, and really impacted my entire life. I never called him Dad, because he wanted me to call him by his stage name, Blackie. At the age of 7, I was able to convince my mom to send me to California and live with my dad, permanently. This was the moment when I stopped living the lifestyle of an average kid. My dad practically lived in a big club. He made most of his incomes by selling drugs to anybody that wanted it. Yup, my dad was a drug dealer. It's a simple lifestyle, I guess, not that I recommend it. One of the pros of living in a big club was that I could watch all the shows. I saw many famous bands like Deep Purple and the Eagles. The age of 8 was one of the most influential times of my life. The reason it was one of the most influential age was it was the age when I started doing drugs. I smoked marijuana for the first time in my life that year, and doing drugs is one of the biggest things I regret doing, even though it's one of the things I did for most of my life. That is a picture of... Wait, that's supposed to be me? Dude, why do you write dumb? Are you serious about Shank? Sorry about that. I had a very authoritative personality ever since I was little. Now where was I? Oh yeah. Drugs! I was hooked. I did everything I could do to get drugs since I was 10. I would steal money and buy from the pharmacy, steal from houses, take weed and heroin from Blackie's safe. I was addicted really fast, but we can get to that later. When I was 12, I met this really nice girl in school. So me and her left class and went to a shed, I think. The rest I don't really remember, but whatever, let's move on. I wouldn't say I made friends easily because of my aggressive personality. Can't you draw better pictures of me than this? This is terrible. But in high school, I made my first 2 friends, Flea and Hilo. Don't ask about Flea's name, he hates being called Michael. We met by doing drugs together. Yeah, I know. And we decided to join Hilo's rock band, Anthem. We were all passionate about music. There was one more person in the band. I don't think it was anyone important to my story though, so moving on. A couple big things happened after I graduated. I was able to keep my marks up. So first of all, I went to UCLA. I dropped out, of course, I'm not going to stay there. Second, I moved out of Blackie's home. Something about doing drugs till 3 AM ticked him off, and I couldn't live like that. And I also broke up with my short-term girlfriend. She wasn't worth my time anyway. But the biggest change was that we changed our band name to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We wanted to go further with our music, and we wanted to change our name to something memorable and something that others will remember. Well, enough about other people. Let's talk about me. I started singing and vocalizing not because of rock and roll, but it's actually because of hip-hop and rap. I liked how music was improv and everything had a beat. My biggest inspiration was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. Without him, I might not have even heard of the genre. The Red Hot Chili Peppers moved forward. After a couple years, we finally got our first record deal. This was huge for us because the first time we weren't poor because we all got paid $1 million. You can bet that was a huge jump from our last payment. You could say it was all going well. Or so I thought. After one of the biggest events, one of the biggest concerts of our career, we were out celebrating, but our guitarist Hilo was nowhere to be found. I picked up my phone call and Hilo, our lead guitarist and our only guitarist, had died. With the $1 million he got, he spent a lot of it on drugs and overdosed in one night. When he got to the hospital, it was already too late to save him. I knew I had to change. I was also addicted to drugs, and I knew something like this could happen to me. Not only for myself, but for the entire band. Hilo was one of me and Flea's best friends, and if I passed away, the band would fall apart and Flea would be devastated. And dying isn't something I'm looking forward to either. I went to rehab with determination. And 6 months later, I became completely clean of drugs. It was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. We also got a new guitarist, John, who eventually turned into a brother of ours. But many good things come to an end, and after a doctor appointment with a neurotic drug, Drugs destroyed my life again. I went 6 years clean of drugs, 6 years, but when I started again from the medication, I couldn't stop. I never contributed to the band and I was kicked out, which I completely understand for why they did that. Getting clean again was on a whole different scale of difficulty. I wanted to run outside and go on a drug binge, but the desire to rejoin the band held me down, and I knew I couldn't do this alone. I realized something that I should have realized a long time ago. The only way to cure your problems is to talk about it to people that have the same problem. Helping others solve the problem is the best way to solve your own. I came clean again and rejoined the band, but I never stopped helping others, because that feeling was better than any other drug.